Context and the basic concept of counseling. Counseling is affected by context and the surrounding factors. They are explored here as part of the basic concepts of counseling that are very important to consider. When we say context, it is the set of circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or idea in terms of which it can be fully understood or assessed. Or it's simply context is setting. The primary context of counseling a client is the family. Other important contexts are the peers, the neighborhood, the culture, and counseling situation itself. Family as a context. The family is the primary context in which a person learns, develops, and socializes. Parents have much influence over their children. Critical issues involves family roles, both positive and negative. In most cases, the family can help counter negative influence of the other context. Peers as a context. The attitude, norms, and behaviors of friends have a strong influence on adolescents. Many personal issues are often introduced to the individual by their peers. Neighborhood as a context. The neighborhood is an important immediate context because the family and peers function within it. The problems in a particular neighborhood may require families to work together to solve them. A community network that collaborates in raising their children has an informal agreement of shared responsibility. The neighborhood can both introduce additional strengths and challenges to counseling. Culture as a context. Culture is the source of norms, values, symbols, and language, which provide the basis for the normal functioning of the individual. Understanding the cultural context of the client makes it easier for the counselor to appreciate the nature of their struggles, as well as their cultural conditioning that informs and on personal characteristics such as degree of openness to share personal experiences, self-revealing, making choices, and personal determination for independence. Counseling as a context. The counseling situation is itself a context regardless of the therapeutic approach in use. There is a deliberate specific focus, a set of procedures, rules, expectation, experiences, and a way of monitoring progress and determining results in any therapeutic approach. Counseling can therefore be affected by counseling context. Factors under the counseling context are the client, the counselor, the setting, and the process. Factors of the counseling context. Client, factor clients are not passive objects receiving treatment. They should be considered an active participant. The expectations and attitudes of the clients define the result of the counseling. The success or failure depends on the clients. Counselor factor. The counselor's personality, skills, and personal qualities can significantly impact the outcomes of the counseling relationship. The choice of methods that the counselor uses also determine the positive or negative experience of the client. Contextual factors. The environment and atmosphere where to conduct the sessions are also important. Ideally, counseling should take place in a quiet, warm, and comfortable place away from any distraction. Process factors. The process factors constitute the actual counseling undertaking. Present six stages which apply to all problem areas in the process of counseling. It's by Bill Min 2001. These are the six stages of the counseling process. First, developing trust. Second, exploring the problem areas. Third, helping to set goals. Fourth, empowering into action. Fifth, helping to maintain change, and lastly, agreeing when to end the helping relationship. What is developing trust? This involves providing warmth, genuineness, and empathy. Exploring the problem areas. This involves providing clear and deep analysis of what the problem is, where it comes from, what triggers it, and why it may have developed. Helping to set goals. This involves setting and managing goal directed intervention. Empowering into action. This means fostering action to achieve set goals. Helping to maintain change. This means providing support and other techniques to enable the client to maintain changes. Lastly, agreeing when to end the helping relationship. This implies that assurances are there that guarantee the process is being directed by the client and toward independence. Goals of counseling. Counseling is aimed at empowering a client. The general goal is to lead an individual or group to self-emancipation in relation to a felt problem. Self-emancipation at some stage of the process. The client should attain insight and understanding of oneself, achieve better self-awareness, and look at oneself with increased self-acceptance and appreciation, and be able to manage oneself positively. Empowerment client. Empowerment means that they develop skills and abilities that requires self-management and improve motivation towards action that are good for oneself and develop a positive outlook toward the past leading to some sense of closure and attainment of relative inner and outer harmony resulting to improvement in relationships with family, friends, colleagues, and others. Scope of counseling. The scope of counseling is wide. It involves application of some psychological theories and recognized communication skills. It does not deal with clinical cases such as mental illnesses. It is a professional relationship that requires an eventual closure and termination of the counselor relationship. The principles of counseling can be found in the basic process of counseling. Since they govern each and every step, developing trust, exploring problem areas, helping to set goals, empowering into action, helping to maintain change, and agreeing when to end, according to Billman 2001. Counselors are to set aside their own value system in order to empathize with their clients. Since the objective of counseling is to provide support in dealing with issues of concerns, counseling is effective when it is performed with clear objectives that includes providing some degree of advice, reassurance, release of emotional tension, clarified thinking, reorientation, listening skills, respect, empathy and positive regard, clarification, confrontation and interpretation, and transference and counter-transference. Advice. Counseling may involve advice giving as one of the several functions that counselors perform. When this is done, the requirement is that a counselor makes judgments about a counselor's problems and lay out options for a course of action. Advice giving has to avoid breeding a relationship in which the counselor feels inferior and emotionally dependent on the counselor. Reassurance. Counseling involves providing clients with reassurance, which is a way of giving them courage to face a problem or confidence that they are pursuing a suitable course of action. Reassurance is a valuable principle because it can bring about a sense of relief that may empower a client to function normally again. Release of emotional tension. Counseling provides clients the opportunity to get emotional release from their pent up frustrations and other personal issues. Counseling experience shows that the persons begin to explain their concern to a sympathetic listener. Their tension begins to subside. They become more relaxed and tend to become more coherent and rational. The release of tensions helps remove mental blocks by providing a solution to the problem. Clarify thinking. Clarified thinking tends to take place while the counselor and counselee are talking, and therefore becomes a logical emotional release. As the relationship goes on, other self empowering results may take place later as a result of developments during the counseling relationship. Clarified thinking encourages a client to accept responsibility for problems and to be more realistic in solving them. Reorientation involves a change in the client emotional self through a change in basic goals and aspiration. This requires a revision of the client's level of aspiration to bring it more in line with actual and realistic attainment. It enables clients to recognize and accept their own limitations. The counselor's job is to recognize those in need of reorientation and facilitate appropriate interventions. Listening skills. Listening attentively to clients is the counselor's attempt to understand both the content of the client's problem as they see it and the emotions they are experiencing related to the problem. Counselors do not make interpretation of the client's problems or offer any premature suggestions as to how to deal with them or solve the issues presented. Good listening helps counselors to understand the concerns being presented. Respect. In all circumstances, clients must be treated with respect. No matter how peculiar, strange, disturbed, weird, or utterly different they are from the counselor. Without this basic element, successful counseling is impossible. Counselors do not have to like the client, their values, or their behavior, but they have to put their personal feelings aside and treat the client with respect. Empathy and positive regard. Carl Rogers combined empathy and positive regard as two principles that should go along with respect and effective listening skills. Empathy requires the counselor to listen and understand the feelings and perspective of the client, and positive regard is an aspect of respect. For Rogers, clients have to be given both unconditional positive regard and be treated with respect. Clarification, confrontation, and interpretation. Clarification is an attempt by the counselor to restate what the client is either saying or feeling, so the client may learn something or understand the issue better. Confrontation and interpretation are other more advanced principles used by the counselor in their intervention. Transference and counter-transference. Other advanced principles deal with transference and counter-transference. When clients are helped to understand transference reactions, they are empowered to gain understanding of important aspects of their emotional life. Counter-transference helps both clients and counselor to understand the emotional and perceptual reaction and how to effectively manage them. So again, the principles of counseling are advice, reassurance, release of emotional tension, clarified thinking, reorientation, listening skills, respect, empathy and positive regard, clarification, confrontation and interpretation, transference and counter-transference. Core values are considered core to counseling and are reflected and expressed in the practice of counseling. All counselors are expected to embrace these and similar sets of core values as essential and integral to their work. These values are respect for human dignity, partnership, autonomy, responsible caring, personal integrity, and social justice. What do you mean by respect for human dignity? This means that the counselor must provide a client unconditional positive regard, compassion, non-judgmental attitude, empathy, and trust. Partnership. A counselor has to foster partnership with the various disciplines that come together to support an integrated healing that encompasses various aspects such as physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual aspects. These relationships should be of integrity, sensitivity, and openness to ensure health, healing, and growth of clients. Autonomy. This entails respect for confidentiality and trust in the relationship of counseling and ensuring a safe environment that is needed for healing. It also means that healing or any advice cannot be imposed on a client. Responsible caring. This primarily means respecting the potential of every human being to change and to continue learning throughout his or her life, and especially in the environment of counseling. Personal integrity. Counselors must reflect personal integrity, honesty, and truthfulness with clients. Social justice. This means accepting and respecting the diversity of the clients, individuals, their cultures, languages, lifestyles, identities, ideologies, intellectual capacities, personalities, and capabilities regardless of the presented issues. The WHO, PMHA, APA, and other organizations and associations renders consensus on the core values. From such core values, the ethical principles of counseling are broadened. The following principles contextualize the core values in action. They form the foundation for ethical practice as expressed by the New Zealand Association of Counselor. Ethical principle of counselor at New Zealand Association of Counselor. So these are the ethical principles for counselor. The counselors shall act with care and respect for individual and cultural differences and the diversity of human experience. Avoid doing harm in all their professional work. Respect the confidences with which they are entrusted. Promote the safety and well-being of individuals, families, and communities. Seek to increase the range of choices and opportunities for clients. Be honest and trustworthy in all their professional relationships. Practice within the scope of their competence. Treat colleagues and other professionals with respect. Okay, now let's proceed to this one. This is the exit pass. After listening and understanding the topic discussed to you, you have to submit the exit pass. Red means in the red section of this exit pass, you will write something you don't understand. In the yellow section, write something that you still have questions about. Finally, in the green section, you share something you totally understand. Okay, that's all for today. See you tomorrow in our uh, next session. Thank you.